Perfect time of day just to sit here and look at the links, Gerry, right?
Honest to God, when you look out there and you just wonder what's over that hill. It's amazing.
Thank you, Katie.
Thanks, Katie. Cheers.
Was there a time when you looked out over those hills and you kind of shake your head now in retrospect and say, I can't believe what we built?
Well, I can tell you, I have to pinch myself every day here. When I came in 1999, I was struggling a bit. I couldn't understand why it struggled, because it was such a fantastic golf course. I was shocked when I saw how good it was and how bad it was doing, really. When you sit here and you look, you just think, what's over the hill over there? And believe you me, when you see it today, and you've seen it in the past, when you go over there, it's a golfing heaven. It's just so spiritual out there. I think you lose yourself in the place and golf becomes incidental almost on the way around. It doesn't matter whether you're playing good, bad or indifferent, you're just in awe of the size of the dunes, the way they just peak on top of you almost as you go along. It's Eddie Hackett described it as God's golf course when he came here. All he had to do was tweak it, and I think he was right, because he wouldn't let anything happen to the golf course as it stood at that particular time. There was no machinery brought in. It was all spades and shovels. They took 14 people off the labour exchange. That's why it took 10 years to build. He didn't want to destroy the natural terrain that was out there. And literally he tweaked it on the back of a newspaper. And you can see that with this photograph here behind me. There was no effort put into it. He just made sure that things stayed as they were. So the greens are on natural shelves. The tee boxes are on natural shelves. We're not pristine, we're raw and we're rugged, but we're different than everybody else. But people come to me here and they say, Gerry, do me a favour, don't touch that golf course. Leave it as it is. Don't make it the magic carpet type of golf course. So that's what makes us a little bit more unique than the rest of it. We're a long way out. We suffered for a long time. For 10, 15 years, back in 2009, we were only doing 2,500, 3,000 rounds of golf. Totally unsustainable. We had the best 9 just opened, which is the Kilmore 9, now the Wide Atlantic Dunes course. We had to close it because we only had 3 greenkeepers and no money. And then things started to happen for us, which was thanks very much to Tom Coyne, the No Laying Up guys, all the American side, yourself, Matt, and Liguri. And then COVID hit, just as we were seeing a little bit of a peak, and we had bought carpet for the first time in 25 years. On the strength of the bookings that were coming in pre-COVID. And then COVID hit. We had no money for the carpet, and we had no money for the bills. And thanks to the podcasts and thanks to the No Laying Up guys and the American people, the response was enormous. We were in tears downstairs, and I'm not joking. We got letters from people saying, I'd love to help you, but my child is sick. We have bills to pay, but when that's all over, we'll support you. And at the end of the day, we sold about 40 life memberships. We sold our shop out, which we hadn't got online. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, we had cash flow and we were able to do things. And we never looked back since then. And most of our business, of course, is American business, Canadian business, English business. And without that, we wouldn't be here today. So we got a great general manager, I have to add, in Fiona in 2018. And she just made a world of difference, because I couldn't spell social media at that time. And she was a perfect answer for social media. She was brilliant at it, as well as being a brilliant businesswoman. And between the two of us, we got it going, and we have a great board and a great management team, small management team. We meet regularly, and of course, customers number one, that's our focus. We're always here to meet and greet whoever it is. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody who comes through that door is an important person. And now we're doing 13,500 rounds. So it's a phenomenal change from 2,000 to 13,500, I have to say, since Fiona's arrival. And we're growing. We're 10% this year.
Great, wow.
And we'll probably become one of the biggest destinations for golf in terms of the numbers coming in from the States to Ireland. Because unlike the other courses who have the difficulty, and it's not a difficulty for them, they're member golf courses. Sure. We're not for profit here, the community. We operate the golf course in trust for the community. So everything goes back into the community, but we don't have any members. All our members here are international members. And 3 weeks' time, we have our third international member guest week. We have 209 coming here for the week.
Wow.
For a week's golf. So, look, as I said at the start, I have to pinch myself because we were rags. And I'm not saying we're riches now, but we're certainly on a great road to survival. And we're able to increase our greenkeeping staff. We have the great staff up here, the girls that have just delivered the tea, great chefs, the food here we took back ourselves, the franchise. And just the place is rolling in the space of, when you take 3 years out of it for COVID, it's an extraordinary change from 2,000 rounds in 18 to 13,500 rounds in 25, with 3 years of no business effectively, because in Ireland we were closed for golf for most of it.
Classic.
So
when you were talking about the land here, these dunes,
yeah,
you specifically spoke about a spiritual sense.
yeah.
It's the same that I have when I play here. There's an otherworldly connection to this land. What do you know about the history of this land? When we go back as far as you please, but what do you know about this in terms of how it connects and the energy?
So the land was normal, just grazing land like any other part in Ireland, except it didn't have the topography that we have here. And we had 15 farmers operating out there with sheep. That's all it was. And they were making a few bob. That's really it. They weren't making great money, but they were making a few bob, because it's not the greatest land in the world for grazing either. But 5 business people got together in the town at the time, because there's no industry in Balmuller, effectively, and no jobs. So the kids go, we never see them again. They go to London, go to the States or whatever, and try and find their way there. And those 5 people had great foresight in terms of, thinking that you could actually build a golf course out there. And they brought up a priest from Connemara who had built Connemara Golf Club, which was full of rock, great golf links down in Connemara. And he came up and he had a look and he said, go for it. So they got together, they started running cake sales and all sorts of raffles. They created people who just put in a few bob. And between the Riggs and the Giles, anyway, they got the whereabouts, I suppose, to buy out the 15 farmers. And they were quite happy, the farmers, because I think they probably got more money than they could actually earn themselves with the land. And then Eddie Hackett was brought in, and when he saw it, he couldn't believe it, as I said earlier. And they had no money, of course, so Eddie did it on expenses. Eddie came down on the train and they picked him up on the train. And he had his newspaper under his arm, and the course was written down on the newspaper. An extraordinary way of doing business, but there was no computers then, of course. Back in 1985, everything was only happening. And he did that, and they, as I say, 10 years on, so that land hasn't changed at all, as it was, really, except we've just cut the grass, made sure that it looks like a golf course. And of course, it's a magnificent golf course. It's just when we talk about the spiritual side of it, when you go out there, almost every hole is through a valley. And so you feel you're on your own golf course. There can be 200 people out there playing, and you won't know where the other 196 are, because these dunes are so enormous. They're 150 feet in the air. And it's one hole after the other. We get people coming here doing podcasts, and they say they run out of film after 3 holes because they said it can't get any better. And then they're just shocked at how good it is all the way through, whether it's 18 or 27. And we've been so lucky, as I say, with everybody who comes here, including yourselves. Yeah, so it's that's going to be a complete game changer, for us, because people will come and stay the week. I'm always saying, when I meet people, I met a guy actually not so long ago. He came into the bar, and because it's a bit of a hike out there too. So I would have to say you should have a 4 caddy, I think, number 1, to find your way around, and number 2, if you're anyway unfit, you should get a buggy, because it does need that. But this guy came in from Philadelphia here a couple of weeks ago, and he looked a bit tired when he came in. I wasn't sure whether I'd say anything to him or not. I let him cool off. And eventually I said to him, how'd you get on out there? He said, it was only spectacular, he said. It was a little bit of heaven and a little bit of hell. I thought that exactly summed it up. It was just, that sums it up out there. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether the golf, as I say, is good. Most people don't care. They don't care. They come in, they're just in awe of the place. As I say, only God could put what's out there. Nobody could build it. We've had Mike Kaiser was here before he built Bandon Dunes to see could he replicate what's here out there, but you can't replicate what's out there anywhere, even though he did a great job in Bandon Dunes. So and Michael Jr. was here last year. He was building a course in Colorado. So they all come here to see what's possible. But I don't think anything is possible what's out there.
You know, Gerry, when you talk about the authors and the podcasts and it's almost like a quintessential Irish story. You know, poets and priests and the rags to almost riches story that this is, and so much of it, of course, is because of your personal vision and engagement and involvement, because that same span has seen this success and in many ways has seen this survival and now flourishing. Thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for hanging in there with this thing and having the tenacity to see it through, because this is a Lynx gift to the entire world.
It is a Lynx gift to the entire world, and more so to the local community, because the community here needed something, and they now have it. And it's, everybody graduates from here. You've been there before, McDonald's Pub, the 19th.
Yeah.
And his hospitality, along with the hospitality that I hope we provide all the time, just makes it a special place to come. And I came here in '99 and didn't go back.
Can I toast you with a teacup?
You can indeed.
Sláinte.
Sláinte.
Thank you for hosting us.
Not at all. Thank you for coming.